Can we talk for a minute about our Integrating Heart and Mind workshop?
Absolutely. I'm excited. It's coming up in the fall of 2024.
I'm so excited. We changed the format to make it more accessible to people with like work schedules and personal schedules. And so this time we're going to do it 3 hours on a Friday afternoon or evening, depending on where you're at, and 5 hours on Saturday for 2 different weeks in September.
Yeah, it's so great. Like if you're finding yourself stuck in like sticky bad patterns or having communication issues or something like that, or if you want to just like get closer and trust yourself or your partner more, this is the workshop for you.
Yeah, and individuals are welcome, couples are welcome. If you're interested in really thinking through how to serve yourself well inside of your relationships, then we've built a workshop that will support you in finding the ways that are just right for you.
To sign up, head over to our website at whydoesmypartner.com/events.
We hope you'll join us. Welcome to the Why Does My Partner podcast.
I'm Jules.
I'm Vicky.
And I'm Rebecca. We're your hosts. We're also couples therapists and messy humans bumbling through our own relationships every day.
We met at a training, and our secret sauce is that we and our partners became fast friends. Between us, we have more than 40 years of experience holding hard relational questions with our clients. We're going to bring those questions here.
And together, we're going to take a stab at answering those questions. This podcast is not a substitute for couples therapy. If something you hear in this podcast stirs something deep within you about your relationship, reach out to a couples therapist in your area.
We also love to hear your questions, so don't forget to go over to whydoesmypartner.com to leave a question of your own. Here's today's question. Why do I need to take care of my partner when they try to apologize to me?
Ooh, boy. I know I love every question, but I swear this is...
Are you going to say, but this one's different?
No, she was going to say this one's her favorite.
This
It's like
one's
she
my
has
favorite.
all these children, but this one's her favorite.
It's true.
She loves all her kids.
I love
This
all the
one's her
kids,
favorite.
but this one's my favorite.
Yeah.
Um,
Jules, will you tell us why you love this one so much?
because I love separating remorse from shame.
Yes.
Um,
They are such
Yeah.
different animals, remorse and shame.
They are. They are. So shame is like a feeling that's about social threat.
Mhm.
Shame, I think of it as like social terror.
I'm laughing.
Yes,
Sorry.
tell me more. I saw that face.
Because you've already gotten really, which is eloquent. And I'm like, shame is feeling icky inside.
Oh no, I love that.
Well, it
Okay,
is.
it is feeling
Yeah.
icky inside. Yes. Say more.
Yeah.
So when you experience a shame flood, what does the icky feeling tell you? What words come with it?
Oh, I have
Let's
no
track
words
it.
that go with it.
Oh,
Well,
I'm
tell
so
us-
awful. Why
Thank
can't
you.
I'm the worst.
What's wrong
I
with
just
me?
shouldn't. Why am I even alive?
Mhm.
It's
Totally.
this toxic, like,
How are you even with me?
I'm the worst.
Oh,
I
yeah.
shouldn't be a fill in the blank.
Right.
Partner,
Partner, parent, mother, father,
husband, blah, blah, blah.
therapist, human,
worker of any kind,
whatever.
Mhm.
artist, whatever.
I
Right.
shouldn't be.
Right.
And
so,
it's like,
yeah.
it's funny. Our audience can't see that I literally, so like your
You got
shoulders
really
can go
small.
in.
You got really
Yes, I
small.
try to shrink. And I don't even do that in real life when it happens, but this is the image that I have of what happens to me. Because I just know that if you could put lack of words, but a thought feeling to what it would be like in your brain, everything you guys just said. Because like I don't feel it in my body. And I do want to shrink. And it's just that like I know that I suck compared to other people.
Yeah, shame to me, it feels like this quality of like, I should just disappear. I shouldn't even be here.
Yeah.
That's the quality of it. Yeah.
And it pulls your eyes out of contact with other people, right? Because we tend to drop head. We tend to pull in, like you were saying, like getting small. And a lot of us feel maybe tingly sensations under the armpits or down the back.
Oh.
And that's because you're probably getting an adrenal release because you went into social threat.
Okay.
And
can I pause you for our listeners?
Yeah.
And ask you to pull apart the word social threat? Because I think that might be one that some people get stuck on.
Right.
Yeah.
Totally. Okay.
That's a big concept.
Right. So our species is interdependent. And what that means is that I need to depend on other people for survival, sure, but also for general well-being and for thriving. So whether we're talking about just not dying or we're talking
That's a pretty low bar.
It's a low bar. Just don't die today. Or we're talking about well-being in general. So there are many, many, many studies at this point that are showing that people who are under social isolation, who feel alone, who feel a lack of belonging, have significantly worse health outcomes. So general well-being, including things like depression and anxiety, but also shorter lifespans, heart attacks are worse, cancer's worse. Like it's across the board. The healing time takes longer if you don't have good social connections. So well-being in general, right? Yeah.
Is it accurate to say loners aren't born, they're made?
Oh, that's an interesting question.
I've been saying that. I like to say
Loners
that.
aren't born.
Like no one's born
What do you mean by a loner?
Someone who just prefers being totally alone and doesn't like people.
Well, I think introversion. I think introversion is a born-in. It has some born-in trait parts of it. So introversion, meaning like when I say introversion, here's what I mean. I recharge better by myself.
Sure.
Or I need downtime that doesn't have a lot of stimulus coming in for me to kind of rest, integrate information, that sort of thing. Maybe more, I'm going to put this in air quotes. You can't see my air quotes, but all my fingers are up with my air quotes. Introversion, which is actually very complex.
I more mean people who are like, I hate people. I don't need connection. I don't like connection. So that's all I'm saying is like, I don't think people are born a loner. No one's born hating people. We're born needing that connection and wanting that connection, aren't we? And then if something happens, you don't want that connection, it's because something happened.
Totally. So, and some of us may want a little bit more of that or different kinds of that. And those differences are completely normal and fine and lovely. So when I say social terror, what I mean is, well, all of the ways that I have of creating my well-being and thriving and not dying naturally are now about to be taken away because I'm about to be thrown out of tribe.
So we're talking about belonging.
We're talking about a sense of whether or not I get to stay.
Yeah.
And so what happens, so if you
Kind
have
of like I'll be excommunicated.
Exactly. I love that word.
Yeah.
So excommunication would be like a threat. And I know that sometimes is a religious word, but I'm thinking about it even more broadly, is if the threat were that I were thrown out into the woods somewhere all by myself, then I would probably die. Uh-oh. No, they're survivalists. You are awesome and I love you. Anyway, but generally, our species is wired to actually decrease our stress when we're with other people.
That's right.
Now, of course, what that means is you pay a lot of attention to how people feel about you. If you are out there in the world paying attention to how people feel about you, you're not weird. You're listening to the bed nucleus of your stria terminalis, which is a fancy word for the part of your brain that is paying attention to whether or not people like you enough to keep you around. Now, if we're catching that, no, they don't want me, we're going to go into toxic shame and it'll flood. And it's going to tell you you're a terrible person. And you drop your head and you make your body small and you go, please, please don't hate me. Now, why is that a problem in apologies?
Ooh, Ooh,
Rebecca,
I got some answers for
go.
that. Okay.
Go.
So if I'm trying to apologize to you, and inside of my apology, which by the way, if I'm making an apology, that by nature means that I did something and it caused you some harm. And I want to make amends for that harm. I want to center on you and make you feel better. But if I'm trying to give you an apology and I'm going deep into that shame place while making an apology to you, I'm no longer centering on you. I'm no longer giving you the attention to make things better and make you feel better. And so now you're going into a place of, oh, you feel so awful. Let me take care of you instead of being on the receiving end of an apology.
And caretaking. Right. So really, shame has all this contempt in it and it's focused on you. Right? Whereas remorse is a feeling that is focused on the effects of my behavior on the other person. So what's brilliant about remorse is it comes up to tell us that we moved outside of our true north. Uh-oh, I just behaved in a way that was outside of my integrity. It is very painful. It's a super unpleasant feeling. Thank goodness it needs to be so that, you'll jump back into true north and pay attention to how you might have affected somebody. So if I'm in remorse with you, so let's say, Becca, that I did something terrible. I don't know. What did I do? I
forgot to pick me up at the airport.
I totally forgot to pick you up at the airport.
Yeah.
Totally. Now, watch this. I'll go into toxic shame. Oh my God, Becca, I'm so sorry. I mean, I'm just so overwhelmed. This is just terrible. I mean, I feel so bad.
Jules, it's okay. It's okay, Jules. I'll get a cab. I'll meet you. Like, it's okay.
I'm just too much for
Jules,
people. I'm so sorry.
You're not too much. You're not too much.
Now, who's getting taken care of?
Right?
But
that was fun to watch.
Totally. But
I was like, oh my gosh,
who, by the way, was actually injured?
Becca.
Right. So now here's remorse. Remorse goes, oh no, you did not honor a commitment. Oh my gosh. I am so sorry. How long have you been sitting out there?
Oh, about 20 minutes.
Oh God, that's horrible. You must have been feeling like, what the hell? Tell me, what was it like for you, hon?
Oh, I just, didn't really know my way around. I didn't know if I should get a cab or
of course.
I didn't know. I didn't know if you were okay.
I left
or if there's
you
something
lost,
the matter.
and then you're worried. Of course you are. Absolutely.
I was really getting worried about you. And then I was like,
and
what
then
do I do?
Lost. And if you're pissed, for
Totally.
sure. Of course you are. Well, I broke our agreement. And the truth is, I am letting overwhelm completely take over my schedule and my life. And I'm so sorry I let that hurt you.
Oh, thanks for naming that, Jules. And I'm really sorry that you're so overwhelmed, but it really feels good.
Totally. Yeah, but I should really never let that get in the way of me honoring a commitment. I'm so sorry, hon.
That feels so incredibly different.
Who's the focus now? Right?
I wonder, I have a question. And you don't have to do it for as long this time, but I want you guys to do that again. And Jules, I want you to show the remorse. And Becca, I want you to be not so kindly accepting of it.
Oh,
like get a little bit more angry and riled up and like, it's really not okay. And look at how you affected me and that, or I should do it maybe.
Maybe you should do it. Go for it.
Yeah. So Jules, I'll do it. So,
okay, great.
Show remorse.
So Vic, I'm so sorry. I must be at least 20 minutes late. It was probably longer.
Seriously. I've been sitting here. I'm in a strange town. I didn't even know should I just get an Uber by myself? Should I keep waiting for you? I didn't really know what to do.
Absolutely. You should be pissed and panicked. I really get it.
I am.
Yeah, of course. And you know what? Those feelings are my fault, hon. I really
Jules does
messed
this,
up.
I lose steam. You gotta keep it going. Keep it
I was
going. Supposed to. And I just kind of lose it. It's also for my own issues. I have trouble
Here's
I
Here's
also
the
have
thing.
trouble getting angry. You guys know that. So I was like, I can't do this.
I can't do it. No, but here's the thing is when you're in remorse, the goal is not for me to be okay. The goal is for the other person to be held well. They're the one I messed with. Their feelings are the consequence, not mine. Right?
Was it hard to stay there, Jules?
No,
like even
not
when
at
I
all.
was getting really?
Not if I'm in remorse, it's not. If I'm in shame, it
Okay.
is.
Yeah.
If I'm in shame and you come at me like that, I'm probably in a space where I'm more defensive.
But so here's what I'm thinking.
Okay.
I'm thinking about all the people that come into our offices.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thinking about how they move into these spaces where there's been an injury. They're trying to move through a rupture into a repair. And it's like, and remember the time, and also, and also, and also, and also, and don't forget, and also, and it builds and it escalates. If somebody is, we de-escalate things quickly when we own accountability.
Mm-hmm.
When we keep pushing off that accountability, like, it's not my fault. I was so overwhelmed. It's not my fault. I just had too much on my plate. It's not my fault. I got lost in some, right? Like, that's how we escalate things. But when we say, oh my God, it was totally on me. I effed up. I should have been there. You shouldn't have been left alone. This wasn't on you. That's how we de-escalate things.
Yeah, because I don't feel like I'm trying to prove it anymore.
Right.
Like once
And that's
you've
why you
owned
lost
it, I
your
don't.
steam.
Yeah.
That's why you lost your steam, because there was nothing to prove.
Yeah. But in order to do that, I have to know that I'm in a remorse state. So a remorse state says this: I am totally an okay human who is totally valuable being and equal to the person I'm speaking to. And from that space, also, I'm a totally normal human who did not honor a commitment. And that affected another person. And how that affected them, I want to hear about, I care about, and I want to see what I can do to make it feel a little less terrible, even though I probably cannot make it all the way better.
That's right.
Because I already did the thing. So I'm making sure I'm centered in like, I'm okay. And here's the brilliant thing. This is remorse is a gift to the other person, but I'll tell you what, it's actually just as much a gift to you. Because doing that is so in line with your integrity. It actually buoys up your self-worth.
Yeah.
So it's like, look at me coming back into rights with who I want to be.
You know what else it strikes me? Speaking of integrity here, is that when I'm in like shame, I'm living inside of contempt, right? And I'm incredibly self-focused. And equally so, when I cause harm to somebody by being contemptuous and like blatantly outright nasty to them and obnoxious, right? I'm also incredibly self-focused. But when I move into remorse, I'm completely shifting the focus. I'm no longer inside of that contempt. I'm no longer inside of that self-focus. I'm now moving into a space that's much more relationally focused and is actually like, oh, okay, wait, if I mess something up, then there's actually also something I can do about it. It doesn't make me a bad person. It makes that action something that was harmful.
Yeah, and that actually leads to more empowerment to do something about it.
Yes.
I was just going to say that.
It's a more empowered position. Whereas a shame pit is basically like, now I'm weeping or losing it or whatever, whether defensive losing it or weeping losing it. And now I'm asking other people to focus on me.
Yeah, and there's almost like a hopelessness to it.
There's a helpless to it. There's nothing I can do now.
Right.
Yeah.
And the remorse, like you said, is empowering. I can do something about this.
Yes. So whenever we do something that feels out of our integrity, if we can slow ourselves down, remember all humans mess up, offer yourself
I shouldn't
a
laugh
bit
when
of
you say that. I'm
compassion.
sorry, because it's true.
Well, and sometimes it's a big mess up. like I'm just thinking about, I was in a space where I was triggered. If this was like 6 months ago at this point, but I was in a space where I was flooding and had a really bad session. I ended up actually giving the session away for free. I was not doing therapy. I was too triggered. I was having a bad day. It was awful. And the things that were coming out were not only bad therapy, but out of my integrity.
Mm.
So me making sure I financially repaired, making sure I verbally repaired, making sure we keep talking about how that showed up and how painful that was, and how having somebody in my position doing that was so awful was really is really important. And it's really important for me as well as for the person I was working with.
Yeah.
So that their experience is validated. They're not crazy. It really was bad. And I keep having the empowerment to come back into who do I really want to be? Because all of us can mess up.
All of us.
And it can be a lot bigger than coming late to the airport.
Yeah.
Or forgetting to pick somebody up.
So this is reminding me of something that I want to talk about. Maybe we could pick up on it in our next episode. But I'd really like to talk about power and power over, power under, power with.
I like it.
Because we're leading right there. So why don't we wrap this episode up?
I love it.
Okay.
See you later.
Bye-bye.
Take care.
That wraps up this week's episode. Join us again next week for another Why Does My Partner?
We hope that you continue to listen wherever you get your audio and that you'll follow the show.
To go deeper, join us at one of our workshops. You'll find our next date at whydoesmypartner.com.
Did you know you can ask us your questions?
Your questions are relational gold.
Go to whydoesmypartner.com to either write in or record your question for a future episode.
And here's some gratitudes. Thanks to Al Huberman, our sound editor and podcast production magic maker.
Thanks to every one of you who has joined us for our workshops in the past. We've learned so much from all of you.
And thanks to everyone who's reviewed the show on Apple Podcasts. Your reviews help others to find the show.
Take care of each other best you can.
See you next time.